Potential home buyers are battling crazy high mortgage rates and inflation that's munching away at their savings like Pac-Man on steroids. The big question is, will prices keep dropping in 2024 or will they go back up? Over the past 2 years, UK house prices have been a roller coaster that no one wanted to ride and everyone wants to get off. Prices skyrocketed to an all-time high in August 2022. But then along came short-lived Prime Minister Liz Truss with her hold my tea mini-budget disaster and prices took a nosedive. Prospective buyers, well, they freaked out and ran for the hills because mortgage interest rates decided to have a growth spurt. Meanwhile, the lenders, well, they were like awkward teenagers at a school dance. They weren't sure whether to join in or to sit it out. And if that wasn't enough, inflation started chewing up everyone's deposits like the Cookie Monster. So the question is, will house prices keep tumbling next year, or is there a plot twist waiting for us? Stay tuned for the next episode of the UK housing market gone bad. And whilst I still have your attention, could I ask that you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? Thank you very much. So mortgage rates in mid-2023 kept going up. And just when we thought, well, they might calm down now, they went up even higher. Now the markets, they were like gossiping neighbours, constantly whispering doubts about whether the UK could actually curb inflation. Meanwhile, the Bank of England was playing a game of hide and seek. Everyone's been anxiously waiting for them to stop raising the base rate, the magical number that influences mortgage rates. It's been almost a year of watching grass grow, rates frozen in place. Now, the new game is, when will they cut rates? The suspense is killing us. In June, people were on the edge of their seats hoping for a rate cut, especially since inflation finally listened and slipped back to the 2% target. But nope, the Bank of England pulled a not today move. Now why would they do something like that, I hear you ask? Because they didn't want people to think they were playing favourites because of the general election here in the UK. Like the election winner was ever in doubt. But I do get it. They wanted to be seen as politically neutral. So a short time later, the UK got a new Labour government. They've come in like a superhero with promises of building more houses than ever before and a cool freedom to buy scheme for first-time buyers. It all sounds really exciting. Now you might be wondering, what's up with the UK house prices right now? Are they going up, down, or are they going to stay the same? To figure this out, we use sold house prices. They're like the final score in a football game, showing us who's really winning. But like with most things, there's a catch. These prices can be a bit sneaky because they're based on deals made months ago. So they might not reflect what's happening today. It's like trying to guess the weather next week based on how sunny it was last month. We have something fancy called the House Price Index, the HPI, that helps measure these prices. Think of it like a report card, but for houses. But just don't expect instant updates. It usually takes about a month to get the scores in. So while HPIs are working hard behind the scenes, the real-time picture might still be a bit blurry. Basically, the housing market is like your favourite TV show, full of surprises and plot twists. And you might have to wait a bit to see how it all unfolds. So according to the Halifax HPI, from June, house prices did a tiny little dip of 0.2%. Think of it as the housing market took quite a short nap. But guess what? On an annual basis, house prices are still climbing for the 7th month in a row. Now, before homeowners throw a victory parade, Halifax also says that people are still grappling with the whole affording a house thing. So no surprises there. And here's where it gets spicy. House prices in the cheaper northern region of the country are growing faster than those in the pricier south. It's like the north said, hey, southern softies, hold my beer and watch this. Nationwide Building Society, well, they chimed in on the 1st of July with their own findings. Their HPI showed that house prices are also on the up and up, growing 1.5% in June to have an average price now of £266,000. But to be fair, that's like watching a caterpillar morph into a slightly fancier caterpillar. But here's the kicker. Despite all this, the lenders, well, they were never worried about the general election and how it might shake things up. They've looked at past elections and apparently voting booths don't spook the housing market one bit. It's like the housing market is just too chill, lounging with sunglasses on saying, politics? No big deal. So Zoopla, That property website everyone browses but never buys from has this report they put out every month. It's like their monthly gossip about house prices and market drama. Recently, they said house prices will grow slower than our wages in the next couple of years. Finally, right? But before we all start dancing in the streets, they also flashed a warning sign. There's still a big fat gap of about £20,000 between what we can afford and what houses actually cost. It's like trying to buy Waitrose stuff with a budget meant for Aldi. Then there's the heavy hitter, the Office of National Statistics, the ONS. They are like the Sherlock Holmes of house prices, using all the data they scoop from HM Land Registry for England and Wales and similar sources in Scotland and Northern Ireland. They can tell you exactly how much a house sold for last month. No guesswork, just pure facts. So the next time you hear someone bragging about their house price knowledge, just nod and think, okay Sherlock, let's see what the ONS has to say about that. Waiting for stats from the Office of National Statistics, however, is like waiting for paint to dry. These guys are so buried in huge piles of data, they usually give us their figures about houses 2 months down the road. And just like a chef might tweak a recipe, the ONS often updates these numbers once they get more info in. So one day they might say, house prices are climbing, and the next they might say, oh wait, not that much. For instance, at the time of filming this video, the most up-to-date news from them were the figures for May. Back then, house prices jumped 2.2% compared to last year, like the highest jump since last March. Now you might wonder, but are people asking more for their houses? Good question. Asking prices are like the wishful thinking of home sellers. Think of them as people saying, I want £1 million for my old car. We get these wishful think numbers quicker, like just weeks after they've recorded. The tricky part? Just like dreams and reality, asking prices don't always match what people actually pay. The latest gossip from Rightmove, they track asking prices, says new sellers' asking prices dipped 0.4% from last June to early July due to election jitters. Apparently, homeowners felt like they were in a big reality TV vote-off and decided to drop prices more than they usually do in July. Talk about drama. So what's the takeaway? House prices are crazy and the stats are ever changing. So the average house price in the UK is around £373,493, which is a tiny bit cheaper than last month, down by £1,617. However, it's still 0.4% more expensive than last year. So pat yourself on the back if you bought last year. Meanwhile, the property wizards at the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors have been doing their monthly mumbo jumbo. Now they've checked in with their members and found that June was kind of, well, meh. But the crystal ball for future sales is looking brighter. Turns out, 20% of those surveyed think house sales will bounce back in the next 3 months. So there is some positivity there. Now about those crystal ball predictions in 2024. Have you ever tried to read tea leaves or tried to guess the weather for the British summer? Analysts have had a tough time because things change faster than we've changed prime ministers. The Bank of England's unpredictable decisions and global chaos haven't helped either. But wait for it. Despite a recent dip caused by higher mortgage rates, plenty of experts think that the housing market will actually go up in 2024. So hey, hold on to your houses. Things might just get better. So as you can see, a lot is riding on what happens with the mortgage rates. Savills, a big-time property group, is feeling pretty chirpy about the rest of the year. They've swapped their pessimism for optimism and now predict home values will go up by 2.5% this year. That's actually a nice turnaround from their forecast back in November 2023, which had everyone clutching for their wallets over a predicted 3% drop. So why the sudden chair? Well, mortgage costs are slowly simmering down and there's less drama in the market. The economy is doing a tiny bit better too, which means we might see some mild house price gains this year and even better times ahead if you're a homeowner. The housing market's on a seesaw right now, super sensitive to changes. But if things go as planned, expect a modest rise in property prices through this year and into 2025. So maybe don't break up with your estate agent just yet. If you like this video, please consider watching one of my other videos here on the screen, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.